Okay, good morning everyone, and sorry I can't speak too loud. My daughter Marie just fell asleep a couple of minutes ago and I don't want to wake her up. The rest of the house has the mining rigs in, so it's quite loud, and this is the only room, looks like a mess, that's quiet enough to do this analysis. So let's jump right into that and let me explain to you what it takes to finish in the top 10 of a professional bike race per se, where you have a couple of World Tour teams and the rest Pro Continental teams. So it's pretty high level. I just came from Algarve with really bad heat strokes. I did not really improve during Algarve. I actually went downhill. At least I had 2 days of rest, and the next day I started the first day of Challenge Mallorca, and to be honest, went quite well. But the Challenge Mallorca, the way it works is that it's 4 one-day races, so the next day the teams can change out riders, but I had to do the 3 queen stages, which were the 3 hardest stages. So last day was a sprint stage, and it's all full-on climbing stages, and which the first one was the hardest of the 3, or day 3 you could argue. So yeah, let me go into the analysis, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I have never done this before, so I'm going to take you into my training peaks and explain to you a couple of things which you might have not known. Okay, so I'm going to head into my training peaks, and yeah, here you can see the week before I go into the actual file. I just finished, what was this, Volta ao Algarve. It was Wednesday to Sunday, the 4th to the 9th of April. Then the 10th we had a rest day, but it's not a rest day, it was actually just a long travel day. 2 recovery rides, and then Challenge Mallorca started, and I was still not recovered after the heat stroke, as I explained. And yeah, I'm going to go into the ride, and here you can see 360 SS, based 5 minute power of 445, and the 90 minute power of almost about 300 watts. Here you can see that day I said I clicked, I felt normal, I didn't even feel great, sensation wasn't there yet, and it was quite a hot day, which I'm really not good at since I started living in Andorra. There's not a lot of humidity here, and it's always extremely cold. I mean, I still go out and train with arm warmers, like yesterday with Nathan Haas, with arm warmers and a vest, and what we are in May, yeah, almost a start, yeah, end of May. So anyway, I'm into this. I'm going to just click here, hide these watt zones, so you can see the climbs a little bit more clearly, and the RPMs, actually I'm going to hide that as well for the time being. Yeah, I might add, if I show the watts, no, let's show it without it for the time being. Okay, great. 4 hours 23. I think this, I'm not sure if this includes the neutral zone. You have to remember that sometimes that can affect the values. Our normalized power for the 4.5 hours is 326 watts. Watts per kilogram, I don't know if that's correct. 3,200 meters of climbing. Yeah, we can look, it's on the island of Palma de Mallorca. It's the east side of Spain. Yeah, and really a lot of cyclists go there to train because it's really good weather. Yeah, in close between Menorca and Arta on the coast, right on the coast. I used to train quite a lot with in the training camps with Katusha Alpecin. They preferred having their training camps in the start of the year. There we always had 2, one in December and one late January, to give you perspective. Andorra is above Barcelona, right here, very cold in the Pyrenean Mountains, and then you have areas like Portugal, Seville and the Basque around here, where you know it's going to be really hot, and actually Valencia as well. And it's all because there's a lot of humidity, and obviously at sea level. So obviously whenever I go race in these regions, I actually have to go do some heat adaptation, which I don't, because it's impossible to go do heat adaptation before every race. But anyway, let's go into what it takes to finish in the top 10 of these races. So there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 climbs, which this climb I made 1, and this climb also made 1. And this climb, obviously, you can imagine, will be really important, because if there's a slight big group here, and there's going to be a lot of attacks, because otherwise it's just going to finish into some kind of sprint here, as you can see here. And here you can see that top end speed of 86 kilometers per hour was basically the sprint. So around about 86 kilometers per hour, close to that. Anyway, so I'm going to zoom into the first half so I can more accurately analyze the data for you. But remember, there's 10 main climbs. Okay, so show power, let's see. So I'm going to zoom in, let's say, on the first half of the climbs. I'm just going to say zoom so we can see it a little bit clearly. As you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that this is actually where the climb starts. It starts a little bit flat, and then you get where it's like full on. Okay, you won't see a lot of the normalized power compared to the average power will be the same, because this specific climb did not have a lot of switchbacks. That is important. Climbs that have a lot of switchbacks will be, especially on the island of Mallorca, you'll see the normalized power differentiates from the average power, because we go so fast into the switchback corner that you freewheel, or sometimes it's a little bit wet because it's a little bit humid. The sun doesn't shine as brightly on those sections of the road, and you don't actually always want to pedal when you go in with a lot of speed, because the back wheel can slip. But yeah, obviously you can imagine guys like Lance Armstrong, Contador in their days, and even now Bernal and all the other top riders, if they attack there, they literally have to almost pull brakes going around some of those switchbacks. As you can see, like, this is just like sections before we start the actual climb. It's like 1 minute 20 at 443 watts. So this is even before we get to the climb. So it's a lot of kicking, following moves. So this just gives you an idea, like, it's not always just average watts on the climbs. We already start smashing it way before. So if I took it from even before the climb actually starts, just where the drag starts, all the way to the top, that's about 400 watts for 11 minutes. But I'm sure if I go down here and I say peak 5 minutes, you can see it's on that section of the climb. Peak 6 minutes, pretty much close at 440 watts. It's a 6% gradient, so it's around about 6 watts a kilo for that section. I'm not sure what weight is in here, to be honest. And if you do a 10-minute analysis, you also see it's like 406 watts for 10 minutes. So I mean, a lot of attacks here. It's pretty hard. There's a lot of lactate. Then these descents are you'll see the wattage is really low, but it takes immense amount of concentration on these descents and kicking around corners, focusing not to crash, blah blah blah. I mean, you'll see on the descent the average power is like 188 for 6 minutes, but it's not the norm power. You can see differs with about 70 watts, but it's not really recovery because it's switchback. I think there's a little bit of switchbacks on these downhills or fast flowing corners, and it takes quite a lot of concentration. So here you can see it's a bit of switchbacks. If we go on the map, you have to be careful. You don't want to crash. Anyway, that's that. There was a huge split here. A huge split on this downhill, and I was unfortunately in the back group chasing. at the time, and I thought, well, okay, well, race over. I know it's quite early, but most of the top guys were in the front group, so I was like, okay, whatever, race over. I fucked up, had a bad position on that climb, and yeah, you can see up and down, and yeah, we did like a small, really hard effort in the foot of the next, well, not really hard, 416 watts in the foot of that climb, but I'm sure if I analyze the full climb, I don't smooth it out that much. Let's not smooth it out that much. Okay, let's see how much we did on the second climb of the day. More or less, 6 minutes, 400 watts. Okay, 394, but to be exact, around about that. So pretty much, yeah, you can see it's a straight climb, not a lot of switchbacks. So, and yeah, in the middle it was like, we'd do small accelerations. It was pretty hard, up, down, like 1 minute 20 at 400 watts again. So yeah, I'm not going to analyze all of that. So let's go look at the third climb of the day. Yeah, we nearly got back to within like 10 seconds. But the other teams like Arkea and Movistar, Cofidis really were chasing a strong breakaway at the time. To give you context, this is another 10 minutes at 403 watts. So on the first climb I was feeling bad, rode about, also around about, the same wattage, and to give you an idea, like on the third climb it was much easier for me producing the same wattage. So it just shows you some riders start a little bit fast, other riders start a little bit slower. So yeah, that's around the fourth climb or the third climb of the day. Let's go see. So this climb here is a little bit flatter, but it has a lot of switchbacks. So look on the fourth climb of the day, a normalized power 394, but 391 average. Maybe it was not this climb, but I'm presuming it's this climb, if I'm not mistaken. I really thought it was this climb. Yeah, it is. So obviously the normalized power differs from the average because we have to freewheel into these corners and kick out, freewheel kick out of them. So that creates the difference in normalized power and average power. Okay, and like here you can see small spikes where we will like kick 600-700 watts even before you start the next climb. So these are not controlled efforts. By the time you start the climb, your heart rate is already pretty high, even though you had a downhill before that. So I hope that makes kind of a bit of sense. We had a nice long downhill for recovery, but here you can see a lot of spikes kicking out of the corner, 600 watts. 600 watts. I'm sure if I unsmooth this thing, you'll understand. So this is the PF file. I mean, look at all these spikes here. This is how many times we literally kick in between a climb. And here on the climb you actually see it lower because we're riding more constant. So just to give you an idea, if I smooth it out. But there you can see, as we go, it's a really, if you look at the speed, the green graph, like 65, 60 kilometers per hour. And kicking a lot, almost 1,000 watts. And you'd be wondering, why the hell would I be kicking 1,000 watts? Go around the corner, the people are going full gas and you need to kick to stay on the wheel. So 700 watts, the top of this climb, 750 watts, the top of that climb. So we do a lot of sprints in between on downhills that you think we would be recovering on, which we aren't, but that's pro bike racing. So anyway, let's smooth that out a little bit more. Anyway, then we get here. I presume the climb, kind of the drag started there, and we did about 300. Look, okay, once again a lot of switchbacks on that climb. Let's look at the map. And we have to freewheel around the switchbacks, so that's why you see the discrepancy between the normalized power and the average power. Look at all those switchbacks, boom, 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 a lot of switchbacks. So we freewheel kick, That's why you see this graph is not really very constant. I don't know, let's look at the peak final part of the climb. Yeah, 386, 388 watts for another 5 minutes. VAM is not relevant, it's under 6% anyway, and depends on the wind and all of those things. So it takes, I'm going to unzoom. So that was the 5th climb of the day. So let's go into the last part of this analysis. Sorry it's taking so long, but yeah, just to, for those that don't know how it works or don't understand it. So yeah, you know, now there's the legs, there's some fatigue in the legs, it's after about 2 hours, and everyone's getting tired, and the heat's also playing a factor. So let's go look at the 6th climb of the day. Almost 10 minutes at 3:45. I'm sure the peak section is a little bit more. Yeah, about 3:50 for 7 minutes at peak there. 10 minutes at around 3:45. Then you have a small downhill. As you can see, you kick into that downhill, 735 watts again. I'm sure if I, you know, like unsmooth it, you'll see yeah, how it really looks. And sorry, I don't unsmooth it completely because in the graph you can't see the profiles. Then like a small kick over this climb, which I don't really, I count this as one climb. Another 1 minute 40, anything, well, you know, at a minimum, yeah, we can see just tapping out at 320 watts when it's easy for some. Yeah, you can see this part before there's probably a false flat in the middle of that climb. Yeah, almost close to 4 minutes at 415 watts. And then the second part of that climb, tactically I can't remember what was happening here. But they did slow down a bit, yeah, but still over 300 watts, 320 norm. So this is like one long climb actually, if you think of it. And then the peak section, yeah. What is that? 370 watts at 4 minutes. So you can imagine like this whole, how long is this whole section even? I don't even know. Like it takes 43 minutes, this whole section. So as you can see there. Anyway, so let's call that this whole section the 7th climb of the day. Here you can see like the drags, small drags, they go pretty hard, 370 watts. Here as well, small drag on the climb again, 380 watts. Here you can see we kicked quite hard. I don't know if someone left the wheel behind me and in front of me. I would kick that hard in this section, or maybe they just went hard. Yeah, 382 watts with that kick of around 730 watts. So let's say this is the 8th climb of the day. I'm not going to go all the way to the top. What do we start this? The 9th climb of the day, 3.5 minutes at 370 watts. See, always above 5 watts a kilo, lots of sprints in between, lots of lactate, yeah, to start this climb again, big kick, over 600 watts again, and then you just kind of settle in it. This climb specifically was where a lot of attacks went. I just couldn't go with attacks. We only had about 30 riders left maybe. This is, let's say this is kind of the 10th climb of the day, and yeah, you can see it was pretty full on, and I was just sitting on the wheel on a 5% gradient, so I had quite a bit of slipstream, and as you can see I produced 415 watts, close to 420 normalized power, just to stay on the wheel. So you can imagine the guys that were attacking were going at 480 watts. I didn't know if they were, some were doing above 500, maybe for a 5 minute full on section, yeah. I don't know. But I do know it was hard, and yeah, you can see just quite a lot of attacks going, and then the sprint. It was really like a drag race sprint because everyone was completely fucked. Movistar pulled this whole section, yeah, full gas, and their last rider exploded, yeah. So they had no one in the final. So that's that. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis. Sorry it took so long. But just to give you some context of how I would analyze a race and see where it went wrong. I don't do it with all my races. Sometimes I just had a bad day and I don't even go look at the file. Okay, yeah, that's just to give you an idea of what it looks like. And I also don't ride with a heart rate strap, especially not on hot days. I feel it doesn't give me accurate feedback. There's nothing I can do about it, and I don't want something tight around my chest. It irritates me and it's extra weight. Maybe on some cold stages with races that I feel is really important and I want the dot, I might ride with a heart rate strap. But for the time being, no. So that's all for now. This video is already quite long. I hope you enjoyed that analysis, and please leave your comments in the section down below. Please leave whatever, like, subscribe, all of those things. This is how I continue doing this channel. And also, with all honesty, I'm not going to bullshit you guys. If I do a video longer than 10 minutes, the YouTube algorithm favors that, and you're able to put more ads and ultimately make a little bit more revenue, so that's why I do it. But yeah, you guys watching these videos, the comments has been great, always positive. That's why I like the YouTube channel and community. I really enjoy that. So thank you all very much. I do appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead off, do some yoga, cycling stretches, see how long Marie's still going to sleep. And say hello to Mandy. She's working at the top. And once again, thanks for checking in. And remember to hit that like and subscribe button. All the best. Cheers.